Hi creative friends, it's Elizabeth Sampson here, the Doodle Nurse, and welcome back this week for another lettering tutorial. Today we are doing a decorative lettering for a baby name wall art. So for a baby's nursery, this is going to be so exciting. So are you going to a baby shower, or do you just need to create beautiful art for the walls of your child's room? However you want to create beautiful art for your child's room or for a gift for a baby shower or whatever you may be attending, today's tutorial will help you create a one-of-a-kind, unique gift just for that special person. So I'm going to show you how to create that one-of-a-kind gift. So I would like you to grab a pencil, a ruler, an eraser, your paper of choice. So for today we used watercolor paper. You'll see all the description of everything that I used today in the description box below. And I used watercolor pencils and of course water to create this beautiful baby nursery wall art. So once you gather your supplies, jump on in and start creating your masterpiece. I'd like to ask you to subscribe to the channel and click the bell for notifications and select all so that you do not miss every time I post a new upload. So the first thing we're going to do is lay out our guidelines. So our lettering is level and on point. And what I'm doing here is I'm marking the center of the vertical on the paper and center of the horizontal. And I did a practice layout so I know exactly the measurements I'm looking for. And I'm also adding in the center line. I do recommend that you do a practice sheet on a regular piece of paper of how you want your finished art project to look like. And with lettering, you're going to want to space it out. So you're going to want to count your letters and find out what goes in the middle of the line. And so you can see here we're pencil sketching in our word. And so I made the center line, and you'll see why I do this. I'm making a few lines through. The name that we're using is William, so I just laid out the I and the two L's and the I in the center of the word. And this is normally how I go about lettering. So if you need to stop the video and letter in your word, then by all means do that, and you can pick this up. Now the font I chose is a Celtic font, and it's just basically because the little child I'm doing this for is Irish, and this is going to go in his room. So how you lay out your lettering is going to depend on the font that you choose to recreate and place on your paper. And you can see the I's and the L are slender letters versus this A. So I needed to allot more space for the A and the other two letters that are left of this name. So you'll see how I lay them out accordingly. I will use the ruler, especially when you're dealing with I's and L's, and make sure everything is looking its best, obviously. And this is the letter M, and so you'll see how I laid this out with 3 lines. And this is based on the way this font is created. So I'm just outlining the areas that I'll be doing in pen. And the last letter is W, so I'm going to lay that out the similar way to M. The only thing is the letter W is the capital letter, so it'll be reaching the very top ascending line where the L's are located. And I will show you how I master this, because this, I'm eyeballing everything. I'm not measuring the distance between the letters. So what I do is I see that the left side of this W is a little wider. I do end up correcting it, and it's just a visual thing for me. If you're somebody that needs to measure things out, then by all means do it. But I think when it's pleasing to your eye, it's going to be pleasing to the person it's going to. So just keep that in mind. Nobody's perfect and nothing is perfect. If you'd like to follow my social media channels, you can find them in the description box below. So now we're on to creating the characters for this piece. And so I'm going to draw the little characters above the name William. Now I have a practice sheet to my left, and I'm looking at that while I'm recreating what I already drew earlier. So practice is the key to all this. The layout I did on my original pencil sketch piece, I'm changing it up a little bit because I like the way that I'm doing it better. I like the way that looks better, if that makes sense. If you're creating decorative elements for a baby's nursery or decorative lettering for a wall art on the nursery wall, whatever, if you're doing that, I used the invitation I received. And I went based on what they liked in their invitation as to recreating this for them. So baby animals were on the invitation, and so I just recreated the baby animals in my own style. They do not look like the ones that were on the invitation. So this is where you personalize it and make it your own. The reason I like to lay things out in pencil prior to inking is because I always change my mind. And when I go to put the ink on, I usually change my mind about what I want. So that's why this changes up so. So you can see I put the leaves on the bottom just because there were leaves in the invitation. And I'm not liking the little baby rhino that I'm creating, so I just keep redrawing them over until I'm happy with the product. And then we will move on to the next. So you'll see I do put the lines, I use the lines that I created the word William in as part of the decoration. You'll see it towards the end. I also added leaves on the top, and I wasn't so sure about this. They're penciled in, but we'll see how this evolves. So the next thing we do is we're going to outline, and I'm using again my micro line markers. Whatever fine line marker you have is great. You can see I drew the little paw before I put in the L's so that it looks like the paw is overlapping and touching the L's of that little lion there. And because I'm doing this on watercolor paper, my lines are not straight. There's a little bit of tooth on the paper, which does not lead to straight lines. But I'm going to watercolor this, so that's the reason for doing that. When we get finished with this little baby William nursery print, let me know if you like this, if this is something you'd like to see on my Etsy store, or if this is something that you think that you could recreate for your children's nursery. Let me know that in the comment section below. I'd really be interested in hearing about what you would do if you're going to recreate this. So I will go through and erase my lines where I used William, and everything that I did not outline I will erase. And I'm comparing it to my sketch copy, as you can see, and it is different, but that's where I got my layout guidelines from. And I do suggest that you do that if it's something that you want to recreate as a gift. So I'm going to create this with watercolors, and how I do this, actually it's on a cold press paper. I'll put whatever I used in the description box below, but these are the watercolor pencils I'll be using. And I have a beautiful paintbrush, a few of them actually, that you fill with water, and so I'll be using that as well. So I'm going to go through and I'm going to color my drawing that I've done and the letters and everything with the colored pencil of my choice. So obviously the gray is going on the elephant, yellow for the lion, giraffe, and so on. And you'll see how I just color pencil in. I start with the lightest colors and then I move on to the darker ones. So there's two-tone color on the giraffe and the lion, and I'm even doing a two-tone color on the little baby rhino. I haven't worked with the watercolor pencils very much, but I am loving them after making this baby nursery art. So you just add water after you put the color pencils in and you blend everything in. So of course I'm going to start with the darker colors and then move on to the lighter. So the elephant and the rhino, and then move on to the lion and to the giraffe. But this is so much fun. You just add water. The reason why I chose the watercolors versus markers for this print that I'm doing is because I thought it was a softer color. It gave softness to the room for the baby's room. And since this is traveling across country to the future baby that this will be in, I thought this would be so beautiful to match his nursery. Not knowing that he was having an animal nursery, but I guess I just took it for granted with the invitation, and so that's why I chose to create baby animals. And so now I'm doing several colors for the leaves, which is nice because you can blend these watercolors together. And of course I'm going to do the lighter shade of green before I get into the darker shade of green, and you can see how that works. And I think this is the fun part for me, is be able to see the shading and to be able to see how things come to life, and to pick the colors that I want to use for baby William. Is a nice little blue. He is a boy. So when I get done with this, I'd like to know your thoughts. Please put that in the comment section below. As always, make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit the bell for notifications. Follow me on my social media with the links below. Check out my blog. I think I'll be making a blog post on this as well. And let me know what you think. Would you like to, is this something that you would purchase off my Etsy store? Or is this something you'll recreate yourself? That would be great. So then I go about outlining the leaves and putting in the fine detail. And I really like the way this turned out. This was so fun to do, so easy. Probably took me about an hour tops after, well, it took me time to lay out things and decide what I was going to do. But once I got started, there was no stopping me. So guys, thank you for coming in and watching this video.
So did you have fun today creating this beautiful baby nursery wall art? If you did, please let me know in the comment section below. And stay tuned the whole month of March for more lettering tutorials and ideas, lettering ideas, decorative lettering ideas that you can recreate on your own.